Greetings YouTube, Sega Zombie here and welcome to another Sega Wall Lockdown Isolation Special Second Wave. And guys, I hope we're all well, deep into lockdown, the second lockdown here in the UK, and I just hope that everyone is safe and staying positive. That's all I'm going to say. And here we go with another episode, guys. This is number 5, and I think it's important that we focus on the Mega Drive. And a viewer, someone has left in comments, and that is Josh H UK that's gave me this idea. In a previous video, he mentioned and asked if I could do a Mega Drive video focusing on movie tie-in license games. So I thought, why not? I absolutely love movie tie-ins. And I think it's something that's really missed in modern gaming, really. You know, you get the odd few games that come out usually digitally related to films, but back in the day there was so many films. Every film that was deemed going to be a big hit or a popular film got a game, and no exceptions on the Mega Drive. There is loads, and I'm going to include every live action film tie-in that I've got in the Sega Wall at the moment. There is a couple that are missing. The one that jumps to mind is Hook. I haven't got that, but maybe for a future video we can concentrate on TV series and animated films, like Disney movies, stuff like that, because to include them all, that was just so many games. So we're going to focus on live action movies. And wow, we've got some great games, and we've also got some stinkers and lots of in between, loads of average. So I thought, you know, this is a really interesting idea and a great topic. But before we get to that, guys, today's shout out, and that has got to go to Claygraphics. Now, this guy's been on the tubes for a while, and he's got 62 subs. He deserves a lot more subs than
Obviously
that.
for the Sega Dreamcast, a beloved console to me. Loads of nostalgia for it, great memories, a real cracking console, and it's a bit like Marmite I find with this one. I spoke to a few friends that are gamers, and they would say, oh, the Dreamcast, yeah, that was a rubbish console, wasn't it? And I'd have to sort of grab them by the scruff of their neck and drag them to one side and give them a firm talking to. I mean, this is a fantastic console. Hey YouTube, this is my 4th system collection video. Now, the first system collection was for my Super Nintendo, the second was for the Sega Dreamcast, and the third was for the PlayStation 3. And this one is for, as you can see, my beloved Sega Master System. He
does VR responses, pick-up videos, and he's really driven by nostalgia, so much so that he collects for pretty much every system that he's ever owned or a mate owned, and you know, that goes from Spectrum to Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1, Dreamcast, Master System, you name it, he collects it all, guys. Yeah, so all his videos are pretty much driven by nostalgia, and you can see the passion in the games he's collecting, guys, and that's right up my street. Really enjoy his content, so please go and check out Claygraphics. So that's today's shout out, guys. And now we move on to a bit of YouTube news, and that is Danester's streams are continuing. Another great stream Saturday night, and also another old school UK YouTuber that's been doing the tubes for a decade at least now. And yeah, he does the odd video every now and again, but he's a busy guy, and that is Retro Chef Lee. You know, he deserves a shout out. He put together an absolutely fantastic stream on Sunday night. He did get in contact with me and asked me if I could be along, but unfortunately I couldn't do the Sunday night because I was so busy, but I am eager to get on to one in the future, Lee. But yeah, an absolutely great stream that was, with loads of great guys, really laid back, loads of banter, and yeah, it's really what I caught at the end, enjoyable. So I'm hoping this is to you, Lee. Come on, keep them going, bruv. Right, guys, let's get our teeth stuck into some Mega Drive, shall we? And let's start with the blue spines. I think that's a good place to start. And first up, we've got RoboCop 3, and unfortunately, it's a below average sort of like action platformer. The typical affair by then, you know, everyone knows I absolutely love the original Data East RoboCop in the arcades, and I adore the Spectrum port of the original RoboCop. RoboCop 3, I think this is loosely based on the film, given the fact that RoboCop's got a jetpack there. Yeah, it's not great, guys. It's definitely not the best RoboCop game on the Mega Drive. But there we go. There's RoboCop 3. Again, guys, in comments, any nostalgia, any stories on any of these games. Let me know if I'm a bit brief on some of these games and that you're into them. Let me know and tell me that I need to play more of them. Another game which weren't too bad, and that is Judge Dredd. This is based on the Sylvester Stallone movie of the early 90s. You're not above the law. You are the law. Not a bad game. It's okay, this one. I haven't played it for a while, but I can remember when I picked this up a couple of years ago, I did actually give this a play. Not bad graphically, and a little clunky on the controls if I remember rightly. But yeah, overall not a bad game, that one. Judge Dredd. And then we move on to Addams Family Values, which there is another Addams Family game that we'll be coming up to. Never really got on with this game. This is quite a difficult blue spine to get hold of. It's a recent sort of like within the last 12 months I picked this game up. It's a toughie to get hold of complete. This one is all complete and in absolutely mint condition. But yeah, like I said, this ain't an easy one to get. And to be quite honest, I know there's a lot of people that like the Addams Family games, but unfortunately I never really got into them. And this is sort of like kind of a top-down kind of RPG, sort of action RPG in the similar vein to Zelda, that sort of thing. And the graphics remind me of that actually. But yeah, I never really got into it, this one. So let me know, guys, is it any good? To a game that I am actually playing at the moment and really enjoying it, and that is True Lies. An absolutely fantastic Arnie film. I really enjoyed this. Sort of like a tongue-in-cheek take on sort of James Bond-esque. Really enjoyed it. Great film and not a bad game. Again, you're at sort of like a bird's eye top-down view. Really detailed graphics, nice animations as well. And like it says on there, 360 firing colour. Yeah, it kind of plays a bit like a twin stick shooter. Not got that fast pacedness and a lot more puzzle elements and adventure behind the game. But really, really enjoyable, guys. I love how you can roll around and you've got to be careful not to shoot innocent civilians and only take out the bad guys. There's a lot of sneaking around as well, and it really works. A really fun game, guys. Highly recommended. Not a rare game, but quite a pricey one. It's above average, that one. And then this is a sort of joint animation stroke film, I believe, guys, because I've never seen it. But I know it's Macaulay Culkin, and that is Page Master. Forgive me, guys, if this is fully animated film, but I thought it might have been sort of a bit like Roger Rabbit, that sort of thing. Again, a game that I've not played much at all. So yeah, it's just your typical platformer. What I remember of it, and not a great one, to be quite honest, guys. And then we move on to Batman Forever, and there's a few Batman games on the Mega Drive, as we all know. And this is probably the worst one of the three. They went for the digitised sort of realism graphics, which kind of saturated the market at that time. Everyone, I think a lot of the companies thought this was the future because of the success of Mortal Kombat and similar games. And yeah, this has got an awful lot of buttons. It utilises all 6 buttons on the Mega Drive pad. and it's very clunky. The controls are slow, unresponsive and clunky. Not a great game. I've played the 32-bit versions of this as well because it was released on the Sega Saturn, but again, not a great game, guys, at all. The poorest Batman game, I would say. So we've got a few more blue spines here, which I forgot about. And we've got another Stallone film, and that's Demolition Man. This one mixes it up a bit more, sort of your typical left to right action sort of platform gun game. Then you've got some top-down missions. I kind of like how the mission starts with you dangling from that helicopter and dropping down into the sort of like battle, which is great. And I've just snapped me hang tab there, guys, live on camera for you. But yeah, not a bad little game, this. I know this got multiple releases on CD systems, on the 3DO and the Mega CD, I believe, in the States, but never here in the UK. But yeah, not a bad game, that one. Again, not bad graphics, it plays okay. And then we move on to a game and a franchise and a film that I really didn't really like back in the day, and that is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This is based on the movie, or so it says on now. Again, not a lot I can tell you about this one. You don't really know much about them, guys. I used to watch it with my younger brothers and enjoyed the odd episode, but I was never a fanatic of the Power Rangers. And yeah, the Power Ranger games on the Mega Drive ain't great. I've included this one because it's based on the movie, and yeah, that's about all I can really talk about that one. So we've ran through a few games, guys, that are very mediocre. Not a lot of nostalgia for some of these, onto one that I've got lots of nostalgia for, and that is Dick Tracy. Now I'm including this one because there was the early 90s Dick Tracy film starring Madonna and Warren Beatty, and a great game, this. I think it's highly underrated on the Mega Drive. Unique to the Mega Drive, it was not released on any other console, and I love how it's got some depth to it. It is an action platformer shooter where you're walking left to right, but you've got the depth that you can fire across the road at oncoming vehicles. You can shoot up the scenery, you know, you're on the back of cars shooting other vehicles, and then you've got more of a sort of like walk along shinobi style platforming sections. An absolutely great game with some awesome bonus stages too, where you're at firing range and things like that, and just to be able to fire that famous Tommy gun across the other side of the road and things like that. A really great game, great graphics, awesome sound, and highly recommended. And this is quite a cheap title to pick up on the Mega Drive, guys. So, you know, if you want some great games in your collection, this is one to grab. This was one I rented out an awful lot back in the day, so I have so much nostalgic memories for this one. I hired it out more than once back in the day, guys. And then we move on to another game that I really enjoyed on the Master System, and it's not bad. It's the same game pretty much on the Mega Drive, and that is Predator 2. Again, a great idea for a game based on the film. Great film. I remember loving this back in the day. Yeah, it ain't as good as the Arnie classic original, but it stands up on its own. It's a great film and a great little game. This is a game I didn't play on the Mega Drive until recently, and my honest opinion, and I don't say this often, is I actually prefer the Master System port of Predator 2. It just seems to play that little bit better to me on the Master System. I don't know if that's nostalgia or what, guys, but Predator 2, it's not a bad game. And again, not the easiest one to pick up complete. I picked this one up. It's got stickers on it, unfortunately, and it could do an upgrade because it's been glued in the back. which needs to be sorted, but it all works fine. But yeah, that will be an upgrade in the future. But yeah, Predator 2, guys, highly recommend that one. Especially if you've got a Master System, track it down on the Master System, because I believe it's really cheap game to pick up. Oh, we've got to have a sip of brew, guys. And then we move on to another Addams Family game. And this one, because it's more of a platform affair, I've got more memories of this one than I have the Addams Family Values. Again, if I remember rightly, this game's rock hard. I think that's what put me off it. I can remember the micro versions of this, the Amiga port, and I believe that, yeah, on the Speccy as well, and they were such hard platformers. I think they're a little bit easier on the consoles, but not by much, and I can remember just being frustrated with this game back in the day. There weren't enough there to entice me in. But let me know in comments, guys, if you've finished these games and what you think of them. Next up, we've got an absolute classic. It's been mentioned in many of my videos. A really nostalgic game for me on the Mega Drive, and that is the original Batman the movie. An absolutely fantastic game on the Mega Drive, and a game I load up regularly on the Mega Drive, this one, just to have a quick blast, go for a few levels. I absolutely adore the soundtrack on this. The open and intro music, that first level as well, a stunning soundtrack, that on the Mega Drive, and a really great game. I really enjoyed this. I've mentioned it so many times, and it's got to be mentioned again. You can't beat a bit of Batman. An absolutely fantastic game, and it's one that I actually own Japanese as well, as it comes in the little tiny case there, which I think are awesome, and how it opens, and there it is, guys, all complete. An awesome little one to add to the Japanese set, and like I said, it is a really nostalgic game for me, the original Batman. And then we move on to Batman Returns, and this was a bit of a mess, to be fair. Graphically better probably in some cases than the original Batman. Yeah, it hasn't got the music though, and unfortunately it's got really clunky controls that let it down, and just the typical level design, it's very poor. The Super Nintendo beats the Mega Drive on this one, because Batman Returns, I remember back in the day having to put up with this very below average platformer, and my mate having Batman Returns side scroll and beat 'em up on the Super Nintendo, look a lot like Final Fight, and that just blew this away. It was an awesome game. But I really enjoyed Batman Returns on the Mega CD because of the driver missions, and you know, but the Mega Drive port, not great, guys, not great, I'm afraid. And then we've got an unusual one, this one, and that is Universal Soldier. Now this one comes in one of the ballistic cardboard boxes. Unfortunately, a little bit of damage on the front there. But once I've got the full set, I mean, no, in no hurry, I will upgrade some of these as time goes by. But it's all complete with leaflets, the instruction manual. And why I say this one's kind of unusual is because it's not really based on Universal Soldier, the film, at all. It's actually Turrican. It's a Turrican game. I believe Turrican 2. I could be wrong though, guys, but it's definitely a Turrican game, just been reskinned, and loosely based on Universal Soldier. So obviously it's a quality game because we know how good Turrican is. And guys, if you can pick this up, I highly recommend it. Great price. Based on the blockbuster movie starring Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren. Do you know what? It's a film I've got to watch again. I've not seen Universal Soldier for years. You're a perfectly engineered Universal Soldier with extraordinary skills and powers. Locked in mortal combat against your old Vietnam foe, the villainous Sergeant Scott. You are both ultimate fighting machines, but only one of you can survive. Are you tough enough to endure 11 incredible locations From steaming jungles to laser-lashed buildings, can you survive a lightning-fast action adventure hot enough to seal your senses? Have you got nerves of steel that can withstand sudden surprises, most of them the nasty kind? Can you handle an awesome arsenal including triple beam lasers, landmines and special chaos weapons? But yeah, basically guys, it's Turrican, but a fantastic little game nonetheless. And it's a movie time. Next up to a film that I enjoyed back in the day, but going back to it, don't appreciate it so much, not really aged well, and that's Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. And again, this is a competent fighter. It introduced something a little bit unique in the fact that, you know, you could fight more than one foe at once. And it was one of the first games I remember in a sort of like one-on-one sort of fighter other than IK Plus, where you take on multiple villains. Which, yeah, with a multi-tap, 3 of you can play at once. It is a great game. I actually really enjoyed this game back in the day. Has it aged well? Probably not. It's a little bit, it isn't the smoothest of games. It's nice that it's got cameo fighters from some of his movies in it. But yeah, not bad, and it's really cheap, this one, guys. You can pick this one up for £10 and under. So, you know, it's a worthwhile one to add to the set, especially if you like Bruce Lee. But it ain't gonna beat Bruce Lee on the good old Specky. And then we move on to a poor game. This game I remember a long time ago when I picked up. I was really excited because I didn't know this was on the Mega Drive, so it's a game that passed me by back in the day. But a film I really enjoyed, and that's Cliffhanger. And God, was I disappointed with this game. The hit detection's off. The fighting mechanics just don't work. It's clunky when you jump. Yeah, there's just not a lot I can really say about this game that's positive. You know, it's even graphically, it's nothing special. But yeah, Cliffhanger, again, it's all complete. A good movie, not a great game, guys. And then we move on to another absolute stinker and probably one of the worst movie tie-in games, and that is Home Alone. Now, this game, I just didn't get it, to be fair. I can remember renting it back in the day and just being, what? You know, such an amazing film, family film, had potential as a game and it just didn't work. A great family movie, this. So many great memories of going with my parents, my brothers, my sister, to go and see these films all as a family at the cinema, but unfortunately not fond memories of Home Alone on the Mega Drive. It's a poor one, guys. Avoid. So what we got to, we're going to leave these ones till last. And then we move on to Bram Stoker's Dracula. This was a great film in the 90s. I believe this is based on that film. Bram Stoker's Dracula goes straight for the jugular with spine-chilling action, so real you won't believe your eyes. Experience 7 terrifying levels, each divided into day and night, and plunge deep into the ultimate interactive movie, complete with incredible 16-bit graphics and great sound that bring to life the cold, dark dungeons of Castle Dracula. So yeah, it's a game that I've played a bit. Again, it's not an easy one to get hold of on the Mega Drive. I found this one complete. But yeah, not a bad game, an average platformer, a poor Castlevania, shall we say. Bram Stoker's Dracula. And then we move on to one of the most infuriating games. And those of you that follow me on social media, Facebook, it was quite a while ago now, must be a couple of years ago. I was determined to finish this game, and I did. I played it for a good couple of nights, and that was Back to the Future Part 3. Now, this is like a series of mini games, really. The first opening level, which I couldn't get off back in the day, where you're the Doc and you're riding a horse, trying to save Doc's love interest, shall we say. from her carriage going over the cliff. Same as the sort of film in a way, and you've got to get there before that happens. And then you've got like a gallery shootout level as well. Yeah, so you've got the buckboard chase. The shooting gallery is level 2. Yeah, that's it. Level 3 is the pie throwing. And then the final level is the train, where you have to disarm bombs, and you only have so much time to do it in. And that was a mission in itself to do that. But yeah, not a bad game. Just really, really difficulty. The difficulty level on this game is brutal, really unforgiving. And like I said, it took me a good couple of nights to finally achieve and finish this game after all these years. I've done it, guys. But yeah, Back to the Future Part 3, not a great one. Nice graphically on some of the levels, but yeah, weak in others. And that moves us on to a game that I really tried to do the same with, and that is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the action game. And I couldn't get on with this at all, guys. It frustrated me. The controls are weak. Just everything about this game, it just doesn't flow at all. It's clunky as, and real gutted, because back then Indiana Jones was massive, and I just feel that back then there just wasn't a game, apart from possibly Fate of Atlantis and them type of games on the Amiga. The point and click games are pretty good, but yeah, there was no decent arcade actiony sort of games of Indiana Jones back then. But I tried to do a Back to the Future 3 and finish that. I just couldn't do it, guys. I couldn't do it. I couldn't put myself through it. And then on to a game that I've only recently picked up because I had the Japanese version, and that is Ghostbusters. If you thought the Ghostbusters went out of business after their last victory, you're wrong. The Ghostbusters are back in town. Are you daring enough to guide the Ghostbusters throughout their missions? Can you solve the mystery of the missing stone tablet? Yeah, an action platformer. Not a bad game, this. It's actually a solid game. I never really got that far in it. Nice graphically. It's kind of got that big head. Definitely a Japanese-esque style game, this. And yeah, it's got sort of like them oversized heads in the sprites. But yeah, it's a good little game. Again, difficulty, it's rock hard. Again, that's what's gonna put you off this game. But yeah, a good one. And then onto a really bad one, and this is a Genesis game, and that is Wayne's World. Me and Jade played this in a Mega Drive Memories video a while back, and yeah, it's got some funny cutscenes, but that's about it, guys. It's a muddled mess, it really is. You don't know what is an enemy, what isn't, where you can jump, where you can't. It is all very muddled. Everything sort of blends in with the background. Very disappointing, that. We'll put that there. And then that moves us on finally to Terminator. And Terminator, absolutely fantastic films. And we got the original Terminator on the Mega Drive, which is a competent action platformer, run and gun-esque game. This on the Mega CD is absolutely stunning. It's an absolute stunning game. Not so good on the Mega Drive, and it's one of the few games where when a game come out on the Mega Drive, and if it got a port on the Mega CD, it was usually a lazy port where you just had CD quality sound, and that was about it. But no, it's a big step up on the Mega CD, this game. Lots more animation, flows really well. A little bit clunky, the Mega Drive port, but not bad at all. And then we've got not one but two Terminator 2 games. You've got the conversion of the fantastic arcade game, T2, the arcade game there, ported to the Mega Drive. Fantastic game. Works with the Menacer as well. An awesome game, that. Loads of memories of this one in the arcades. And then T2, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which is more of an action platformer adventure game. This one I've not really played that much, if I'm being honest with you guys. If I fancy a Terminator game, I'll always go for either the arcade game or Terminator the original on the Mega CD. So yeah, this is a game I've not really played much, guys. Explosive movie action. This is the sort of like most expensive one to get on the Mega Drive. The other two will probably cost you a tenner, where that it can go anywhere between 30 and 40 pounds, even 50 pounds I've seen that go for. But there is one I'm missing, guys. Have you guessed what it is yet? And I've got to try and spot it. Here it is. How could I forget that? Alien 3, an absolutely fantastic game this. Bit of a Marmite game because the levels are timed. You're under severe pressure to find the hostages and get through this as quick as you can, which makes this a really tough game. But it captures the atmosphere I think really well. A really melodic, great soundtrack, great sound effects. I really enjoyed this game. Again, it was a game I rented a lot back in the day, and it's cheap as chips, guys. Again, you can pick this up for under £10. It's well worth getting. And then a game that I wish they made into a film, and I'm going to include it because it's two movie heroes against each other, and that is RoboCop versus Terminator. I know I'm cheating here, guys, and boy did I want a film of this awesome graphic novel, but I think the game is absolutely awesome on the Mega Drive. Uncensored, gore fest, you know, you shoot a villain and they just absolutely explode. Awesome graphics, awesome sound, awesome speech and sound effects. This really is a fantastic game on the Mega Drive, and it's up there with, for me, definitely in the top 20. A great run and gun action platformer, this one, and highly recommended, so I'm including it for that reason alone. So there we go, guys. Have I missed any? Like I said, I know I'm missing Hook, but I think I've covered them all, guys. Let me know, put me right in comments if I've left any out. But there we go, guys. I want to know your memories. Did you rent these games? What do you think of the films? What's your favourite movie tie-in, movie license game on the Mega Drive? And till the next time, guys, I'm Sega Zombie. Goodbye.